Now, to begin with, Devanagiri is the name of the script that is there, and most importantly, many of us, we don't know one thing, that is, there is a difference between a language and a script. This is the first thing which all of us have to make a note before we start learning anything. We say English language, English script. That is wrong. Language is English, script is Roman, right? And the same script that is there can be used for various languages. So the Roman script A, B, C, D and so on, that is also used along with English. It is used maybe for Latin also, and many other languages, maybe French and so on. So there is no difference in the script. So the first thing which we have to note is, many people, they get confused. They will say English script, they will say Hindi script, they will say Sanskrit script. It's not so. There is a difference in the language and a script. Language is nothing but bhasha. What we speak is language, and in a written form, if you have to express something, for that we need a script. That is the reason even today in Bharata Desha we have few languages which do not have scripts also. Like say for example Konkani language. Anyone here, is your mother tongue Konkani? No? Okay. So Konkani especially is a language which is spoken in the borders, in some parts of Maharashtra, especially on the Goa borders also, right? So that is mainly this Konkani language that is there, is it does not have a script of its own. You cannot write it, but you will speak it, right? Similarly, even in our own normal languages, other languages that we speak, say Tamil, or say Marathi, say English, Hindi, in every state that you go, or in every part wherever we visit, say for example in Mumbai also, Hindi is spoken. The way in which we speak Hindi in Mumbai will be different. The way you speak it in Delhi will be different. The way you speak maybe in the southern states will be different. The point is, the language remains the same, right? It is the same Hindi language, but the way we speak differs. That is, one is the accent. Now, some people, because accent depends on the place where we live in, right? So because of that, it has got an influence in the way we speak. Moreover, there is also a style in which people speak a particular language. Say for example, Tamil also. You see, there is something called Chennai Tamil, there is something called Madurai Tamil and so on, right? So the language remains the same. The way of speaking differs, right? So as the way of speaking will differ, the script will not change. Tamil script, you have to write Tamil irrespective of wherever you are or which part you are, how you speak the language. That is not important. The script will remain the same. Tamil script is only one. So this is one more point wherein you have the difference between a language and a script. Language can be woven and spoken in different ways, but the script that is there will always remain the same. You cannot change the script at all. So this is one very, very important thing which we have to note. There is a difference in the language and a script. Let it be for any language. A very simple example I'll give you, which most of us we relate to. The WhatsApp way of speaking, right? All of us, we use WhatsApp for sending messages, chatting, this and that. Few of us, most of us, we use the English keyboard that is there. Now, when you use the English keyboard, it is not necessary that always you will be speaking only in English, right? Maybe you will speak in Hindi, or maybe you will speak in Tamil, or whatever is your mother tongue. But you are using the English keyboard. You don't always change the keyboard, right? Okay, I am speaking, chatting, sending a message on WhatsApp to someone, say that person is a North Indian. You don't change the keyboard immediately. You don't refer to the Hindi keyboard and Devnagari keyboard. You use that. You don't do it, right? Say for example, आपका नाम क्या है? We type it in English. आपका AAPKA. आपका नाम NAAM. So here the difference is, the language that is conveyed is Hindi, but the script that we are using is Roman. So this is the difference. Similarly in Tamil also, if you ask someone, if you might be typing the same, the language will be Tamil, but maybe you will be typing it in English also. So this is the difference between a language and a script. So coming to our topic, when we say that we are learning the Devanagari Lipi or the Devanagari script. It is the script that is used for many languages, most importantly one of the most important ancient languages, that is Sanskritam, which is a language of Bharatadesha. It is said to be one of the most ancient languages, right? And of course there are few other languages also like Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati and so on. They also use this Devanagari Lipi that is there. Yeah. So the purpose of learning now, I hope all of you could follow this difference between a language and a script. Yes? Yeah. Till here is it going good, or everyone is able to follow? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Now, the next point that is there when we talk about this Devanagari Lipi, how this name comes as Devanagari. You break the two words Deva and Nagari, Devanagari. Now you can maybe roughly come to a conclusion that maybe that script which was used by gods also. Now Sanskritam, when we say it is Veda Bhasha, Deva Bhasha, language of the gods, language of the Vedas. So as such, this language, Sanskrit language that is there, is believed that it is not humanly made also. It is because it is a part of, because the Vedas are there in this language, it is said as Apaurushaya. Apaurushaya meaning Paurushaha, something which is man-made. Apaurushaya, which is not created by men also. It is God's own Vani, Deva Vani. So this script also, now you see the various, most of us here, you might be familiar with different shlokas, stotras also that we recite. Maybe the Gita, the Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama. Few of you might be reciting the Vedas. Or in general, few of us, we might be maybe conversing in Hindi or maybe in Marathi, or we might, if there are kids also, you might be using the language in your schools that is there, or few of you might be, you would have started learning Sanskrit, so you would have felt that maybe if I know this lipi more it will be better, and so on. So there are different reasons why we are learning this script, right? Now even this name Devanagari which is there has the origin of this Devanagari Lipi. Now even Sanskrit as a language, you see, it has also got many scripts. Now English we say Roman script, right? But apart from that also there are many scripts in which a particular language can be written. So a simple statement, one language can be written in many scripts. Similarly, many scripts can be used to write one language. One example for this is, there was a Sanskrit poet. Now Kalidasa, most of us might be aware, a great Sanskrit poet, but along with Kalidasa, in fact before Kalidasa's times, we had another Sanskrit poet. His name was Bhasa. Bhasa used to live in South Bharatam, Dakshina Bharatam, and he had written many plays also, many dramas on basis the Ramayana, Mahabharatam, Krishna Leela stories and so on. All those plays, the language was Sanskrit, but the lipi which he had used was somewhat similar to Malayalam also, because in the last century, in the 20th century also, in the 1920s, 1900s, you can consider, when a lot of discovery research was being done, people actually found out these dramas which were written by Bhasa. So there they could conclude that the language of those dramas was Sanskrit, but the lipi in which it was written was a Malayalam lipi, or you can say a Dravidian lipi, a South Indian style, South Indian script that was in. A simple reason, maybe Bhasa was comfortable with that script, and moreover, now if someone knows the language, you should know the script, right? Without which we cannot learn a language. Yes, initially we can learn, maybe to speak also. You see small children, or even now also if you see, many languages we know, but you might not know to write, right? You might not know the script. Say for example, Tamil, Malayalam or things like that. Maybe I know to speak the language, but I don't know to read it, I don't know to write it also. So a language can be learned by speaking. For spoken it is okay, but for writing purpose or for reading purpose, until and unless you know the script, we cannot learn a language completely, or complete learning does not take place without knowing the script. So this Bhasa who was there, maybe keeping in mind the people, now he was living in South India or so, maybe people around would be familiar with that language. So keeping that in mind, he had used the South Indian script to write those dramas. So later those dramas were revived and then they were translated, written in original Sanskrit, English and various other translations. Yeah. So this was the purpose of script, or this is the importance of a language and a script that is there. Now, so this after this, the next that we see is, why should one learn the Devanagari Lipi? Like I told you, many of us, we are familiar with these stotras, shlokas, Gita, Vedas and so on. Moreover, we also speak these languages that are there, let it be Hindi or maybe Marathi, Sanskrit. So when we speak a particular language, it is always better. Like I told you, without knowing the script, it is incomplete to know a language. So until and unless we are familiar with the script, we will not be able to learn a language fully, or will not be able to understand something fully. So now, moreover, it is always better to read something in the same language that we know. Now, say let us take the example of Gita. Now here, is everyone familiar with the Gita? Have you read it, or have you at least heard it? Bhagavad Gita? Yeah? Now, the Gita that is there, say for example, we have a session, we will say, no, all of us, let us read the Gita also. You will say, okay, the Gita is the same, but say roughly there are 50 people or so. 10 of us might use the Sanskrit book, 10 of you might use the Tamil text, 10 might use the English script that is there, 10 might say some other language which they are familiar. Now, it is okay, the language is the same, the text that we are reading is the same, but the script is different. Why? Because we are familiar with that particular script. No, I know only to read Tamil, I know to read only English also. So like this, if you see, this is the reason why the text remains the same, but the scripts differ. Now, why it is, if you are familiar with these texts also, it is always better, it is said that it is always good and better to read in the same script that is there. I'll give you a simple example for this. We all read maybe a newspaper or so, an English newspaper, right? Or maybe English poem also. Now, if you are reading that English poem or English newspaper, the script is also Roman. It is written in A, B, C, D, whatever, the T, H, E, the A, and whatever it is, right? So, do we read the same? Say for example, you are reading an English poem or so. Do you read that in Hindi? Do we write it in Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha? Or maybe you read the same in Tamil? No. Until and unless you read it in the same language, it will not be perfect. Or say Tamil. Take any text in Tamil, Tirukural, Tirupugal. Though you can read it, say in English or maybe Devnagiri Lipi also, the pronunciation that is there, or the way we chant or the way we read, will not become perfect because we are not familiar with that language, right? So the same goes for Devanagari, or the same goes for Sanskritam also, wherein only if we read in the same language, let it be the Gita, let it be the various stotras, the Vedas and so on, they are all written in the Sanskrit language. So only if we read it in the same lipi, it will be 100% useful. It will be, we will be able to read the same 100% perfectly. So this is why it is signified that we have to learn this Devanagari Lipi, so that it will be useful for all of us to learn, to chant, to read, or whatever we do. So it is very, very important, not only for Sanskrit, for any language that we learn, that we read, it is always better to read something or write something in the same language. Only then it is 100% useful, right? Now, many of us, if you see, especially English also, many people say you should avoid reading stotra, shlokas or so in English. Why? Because in English, if you see, there are about 26 letters, right? A, B, C, D and so on. And moreover, there is only one A. Basis the words that are there, the pronunciation is different. Say for example, ant, A-N-T, ant. How is the pronunciation? Sound A, right? Next word we take apple. Again the pronunciation sound is A, apple. Next we say some other word that is there. Say cat. Again there the pronunciation is cat, A. So here, if whereas you write a word, a boy goes to school, there also it is the same A, but there the pronunciation changes, it becomes a. So ant, there it is a. Aeroplane, it becomes a. Aeroplane, we say. A boy, in that it becomes a. So the same A we are using, say in 3-4 different words, but the pronunciation is different. A, whereas in Devanagari, that is there, these 3 sounds will have 3 different letters. Most of the Indian languages it is so. So therefore, whenever we read our stotras and this Gita, Vedas and so on, it is preferred and said that you should not refer to the English text much because of this problem. Because there you see in English, because now English also, why we know to pronounce is, from a young age also we are used to saying those words, right? Aeroplane, cat, a boy, all these things don't matter. Now you see, even when now I am telling you these examples, at that time it would have struck you, oh, actually it is only A, but I am pronouncing it in a different manner, right? So only if someone tells us, we are able to, it clicks us. Otherwise for us, oh, it's just okay, it's a part of it, right? From a young age I am just pronouncing the way it is, so it doesn't matter. But in Sanskrit or in most of the Indian languages, it matters. That's the reason, as I told you, it is very, very important to read in the same script. Otherwise, it will become difficult. We'll end up pronouncing things wrong. So, Devanagari Lipi, that is there, is one of the most, you can say, more than calling it as an easy lipi or an easy script, it is something which is very, very clear. A has to be A has to be A, E will be E. So there is no confusion. The way I tell, the same way I will write, or the way it is written, the same way you pronounce. There is no concept of silent letters also. In English you have something called silent, right? N-O, no, knowledge, K-N-O. Where is that K? We don't say knowledge. Then maybe as young kids also you would have done that, knowledge you would have said. Then the teacher or someone else say, no, K is silent. Then we make a spelling mistake in the exam also, you will not write that K. Because you see, for small children, they have this habit of, he'll say, right, you say and write the words. Why do they say and write? Because only then they'll be able to get the spelling right. But when you say the word knowledge, the sound of K doesn't come at all. So the child initially will make a mistake. So like this, there are small things which we have to remember. I'm just giving you an example with English. But you see, such things do not happen in Sanskrit language, because the way we write, similarly we pronounce, and vice versa. The way I pronounce, same way I will write. There is no concept of silent letters, or there is a different pronunciation. It will be written one way, I'll say it in a different manner. All these things are not there in this Devanagari Lipi or in Sanskrit language basically. Now, from where did this Lipi originate? Now, originally, if you see, in Bharatadesha, you had different scripts that were there. You had the Dravidian scripts, that is the South Indian scripts, or the Tamil script, through which we have the different South Indian languages that have come in. Then you had the Brahmi script, which was used for mostly in Madhya Bharatam and Uttara Bharatam. From the Brahmi script, you had the next evolution which was done, called the Nagari script. So Brahmi script is roughly, you can say, very, very old script, around 4th century or so. Then you had the Nagari script. More, you can say, evolution in the course of time, it became the Devanagari script. So that's how this script is being used today. No doubt there are many other scripts which are there, like you have the Kharoshti, you have the Sharada Lipi and so on. Especially in Kashmir, if you go, they use the Sharada Lipi, the Sharada script. So like this, there are many scripts that are there to write a particular language. But this Devanagari Lipi that is there has originated or has come from Brahmi. Next it is Nagari, and then finally we have Devanagari script that is there. Moreover, this is one of those scripts which has not been touched upon. That is, in the course of time, okay, this is there, that is there, or some differences are being made, or totally, you see, like you see in recent times also, there will be certain new words that are added to the dictionary, right? Say for example, yoga, or say you have certain words that are added, like you have the pandemic or so that came in. This word, no doubt the word already existed, but pandemic or the virus, things like that, these became more popular, right? Or they became more prominent. We started using such words. So therefore, in Sanskrit language also, or in Devanagari Lipi, there is no concept of this evolution, or you can say a total drastic change that is there. Okay, from today onwards this word will become, it will be published in Oxford Dictionary and so on. Such things do not happen in the Sanskrit language. That's the reason it is said to be one of the most ancient languages, and at the same time even the Lipi also, which we use, the Devanagiri Lipi, that is also said to be one of the oldest Lipis as there are no frequent changes also that are made in the Lipi. Yeah. Now, there are few stories. Okay, till here has everyone followed? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Now, there are certain stories also as well. A lot of religious importance also is given to the way how this script originated and why it has got so much of importance and stuff. Now, first of all, Krishna hymns. I'll just share my screen. I'll just show you the letters so that you have it for me. One second. Can you see my screen? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you don't have to get confused with this because few of you might not be familiar with it. That's fine. And that's absolutely fine. The point of showing you this is nothing but these are the vowels which are there in Sanskrit. Slowly and steadily we will learn all this one by one, how to write, how to spell and so on. For most of you here, you might not be familiar with the script, the way it is written. So therefore it might feel a bit gibberish for you, right? So therefore it's okay, but at least you can have a look how it is. You have the English word also equivalent that is given just for your understanding. Please note there will be a difference in the pronunciation. Now you don't have to worry, all this material that is there that I am showing on the screen, I will also share it in the group, and also in the audio recording I am sharing the description of the video also. I will put it, so later also you can refer to this. You need not even note down all this. If needed later for practice, you can do it. Yeah. Now, Lord Krishna in the Gita, 10th chapter of the Gita, shloka number 33, the first letter that you can see here in red, if you see A is written, this is how you pronounce this word, Krishna, he tells in the 10th chapter of the Gita, shloka number 33, aksharanam akarosmi. He says, amongst all the letters and aksharas, I am akaraha, meaning this sound. Now, why this sound is very, very important, we will look at that later. When we learn all the other aksharas, you will know why this sound is very, very important. So, this because Bhagavan himself gives a reference to this akaraha, that's the reason this lipi and this aksharam has got more importance, more significance. Moreover, even in the Ganapati Atharva Shirsham, few of you might be familiar, there also Ganesha says, akaro madhyama rupam akaraha, meaning my madhyama rupam that is there is like an akaraha, or it represents the aksharam. So, this aksharam or the Sanskrit Devanagari Lipi has got a lot of religious significance also. It has got a reference in the Upanishads, it has also got a reference in the Mahabharatam, that is in the Gita. Moreover, there are few other stories that are told. Daksha Yagam that was done. Daksha, Sati Devi, Parvati, she had an avatara called Sati. She was born to Daksha. Daksha is a Prajapati. I'll just tell you the story in short. Prajapati is you can say a clan of, not actually deities, you can say a clan of sub-deities who are there, Yakshas, Gandharvas, like that you have the Manus, you have the Prajapatis and so on. So from this category, in this category of Prajapatis, we have Daksha Prajapati, who is said to be the son of Brahma, Lord Brahma. His daughter was Sati Devi, an avatara of Parvati, the wife of Shiva. Now Daksha had kept a sacrifice also, wherein he had not invited Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva obviously does not go there. He also stops Sati Devi from going because he had already felt that there would be some danger which was to take place, But Sati Devi does not agree. Like any woman also, she also wished to visit her parents' place also, and Sati Devi goes there. But there, of course, as the story goes, Daksha ended up insulting Lord Shiva a lot. Sati Devi could not bear this and she gives up her life there. Lord Shiva could not bear to listen and see that Sati Devi has given up her life. What he does is, he goes down, he goes to Daksha's palace, he picks up the dead body of Sati Devi, and like a, you can say, a mad person also, like someone who cannot bear what has happened. Just as now, if there are some bad times or difficult times in our house, we cannot bear the sorrow, right? So at that time we don't know what we are doing. Similarly, for Parameshwara also the same thing happens. He could not bear to see this sight. He lifts up Sati Devi, and with the dead body of Sati Devi in his hands, he just keeps moving about here and there. He just stops doing everything, and the world comes to a stop still. That's when Vishnu, what he does is, with his Sudarshana Chakram, he cuts off the dead body of Sati Devi into 50 equal parts. Those 50 equal parts are nothing but the 50 Shakti Pitas which are there today in Bharatadesha. Few of that are there even outside India, and today's geographic Bharata, they are even outside. But these 50 Shakti Pitas that are there, they are actually the different parts of Sati Devi are have fallen down. Like you have the lip somewhere, you have the eyes of Devi which are there, like the Kolhapur Mahalakshmi, and so on. Like this, there are different Shakti Pitas. So these 50 Shakti Pitas, every Shakti Pita is said to be representing a particular aksharam. Now aksharam meaning a letter in Sanskrit. Say for example, someone is trying. Now aksharam, like a is an aksharam, a is an aksharam. So aksharam is nothing but a letter, right? So these 50 Shakti Pitas said to represent one aksharam of the Sanskrit language of this Devanagiri Lipi. So therefore it is considered to be very, very auspicious. Again, one more reason why it is considered auspicious to learn this Devavani or to learn this sacred Devanagari Lipi that is there. And each of these aksharam that is there has got a significance also, the way it is pronounced, the way it is chanted, and so on. Yeah. So this is how the 50 Shakti Pitas also represent the different aksharas of the Devanagari Lipi of the Sanskrit language. Moreover, it is said that, now let's not go very deep into this, but just for your knowledge, being the introductory session, you can just make a note. There are different chakras in our body, starting from the head till the lower body also. It is called as a Kundalini chakra. Now there are 7 chakras, and each of these chakras also represent a particular aksharam. And finally, you have the Sahasrara chakra, the topmost chakra that is there, that has got, you can say that's like the bed of aksharas, or that's like the last of the chakra. So the entire Kundalini chakra consists the Agnya chakra. Agnya chakra is the place between your two eyebrows. So these chakras are nothing but energy points in our body. So the place between our eyebrows also, that is a powerhouse of energy. That's the reason all of us, it is said that you should apply tilaka there. Let it be kumkuma, chandana, vibhuti, whatever you apply, because it is a powerhouse or a storehouse of energy. The place between your two eyebrows, that's called the Agnya chakra. Place of concentration, place of focus. That's why you see especially people who have eyesight problems, or in general also, if we have to see something closely, or if we have to see something which is far off, automatically we scrunch our eyebrows, right? Why? Because we have to see something clearly. We have to focus on something and see. That's because the place between our eyebrows is a powerhouse of energy. So that is called the Agnya chakra. Like this, you have different chakras in our body, which are also represented by various aksharas. So this is one more significance of the Devanagari Lipi. Moreover, you have the Aksharamala stotrams. You have the Shiva Aksharamala. Anyone is familiar with the Shiva Aksharamala? At least have you heard it? Samba Sada Shiva Samba Sada Shiva Samba Sada Shiva Samba Shiva Adbhuta Vigraha Amaradishwara Aganita Gunagana Amita Shiva Hara Samba Sada Shiva Samba Sada Shiva Samba Sada Shiva Samba Shiva. Have you heard it? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's a Shiva Aksharamala. When from Adbhuta Vigraha, then from A you have one, then from E, Isha, then E, then U, and so on, representing, like you can see in this screen, the various aksharas, similar. Yeah. So from E, representing each of these aksharas, you have the entire aksharamala that is composed. You have Shiva Aksharamala, you have Krishna Aksharamala. So even different prayers or stotras for various gods also are composed using this aksharas, using the Sanskrit aksharas, or using this Devanagari Lipi. So these are all different reasons why it is considered to be very, very auspicious and sacred to learn this language, at the same time to learn this Lipi. Now, one more benefit or one more advantage of learning this Lipi that is there is, most of the words you don't have to put in more efforts to by heart something. Say for example the word akashaha meaning sky. The way you pronounce itself says that something which is very vast. Akashaha, sky. So like this, like one example I'll give. Or bhumi, when we say bhu has got something to do with ground. So bhumi is land or prithvi. Prithvi, when we say Prithvi, the daughter of Pritha, Prithu Chakravarti. Prithu Chakravarti was the king. His daughter is said to be Prithvi Devi. So like this you can relate to words, relate to stories also, and then you can remember words in Sanskrit language. So you don't have to put in efforts to remember or by heart something, right? Whereas you see, say for example in English, right? Very few words. Say for example book. Book, when I say, now why you know a book is called a book? Because someone has taught you, oh, this is a book. Someone has maybe shown you the picture of a book or shown you an actual book as kids and told you that this is a book. From that day onwards you remember book, right? But it has got nothing to do with the thing also, right? Whereas certain sounds, say for example a boom, when I say boom, that itself says okay, maybe a falling down noise also. So certain words you listen to the words itself, or say hiccup, something like this, wherein such words, just by listening to the sound or just by listening to the word, you can make out the actual meaning of that word. But in Sanskrit language, if you see, in most of the cases, you don't have to put in efforts to by heart it. You can relate, like I told you, for Prithvi, or maybe for Akashaha, and so on. Or Naraha, man, right? Nripaha is a king. Nripaha, how the word comes in, one who takes care of Naraha. Nrun palayati Naraha, meaning one who takes care of his subjects or one who takes care of mankind in general is a Nripaha, is a king. So you see, most of the words we can relate and remember. No doubt, again this is not just a comparison of languages also, just to show that one language is higher, another language is less. It's not like that. All languages are equal. Every language or script, it has got its own feature. But because we are learning the Devanagari Lipi, a basis of Sanskrit language, we should know, before we actually learn something, you should know its importance, right? Or why am I learning something? So that's the reason this session, especially today, is to know why am I learning a script, or what is the importance of learning this Devanagari Lipi. Yeah? Okay. Now the last part that is there, we will look, and then we will stop for today. Now the most okay, till here could everyone follow? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll just share my screen. Okay. Now, the mother of Bharatiya Bhashas is said to be Sanskrit. Now, when we are talking about the script that is there, you see, these are all various languages which use the Devanagari Lipi. Nepali, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Konkani, and few other languages you can see. Now here if you see, you also have Telugu, I think you have Kannada also, Tamil. These are different languages which directly do not use the Devanagari Lipi, but you have the influence of the Sanskrit language. That's the reason you see some words that are there are common between languages, right? Like say for example, I say jalam. Jalam, when I say, jalam is water in Sanskrit. In few other languages also, jalam is water only. And we use the word. While we speaking also, you give me jalam. When I say, means it is water. So it's not again restricted only to one language. The same word is used in various other languages also. So all these Bharatiya Bhashas that is there, most of it have certain words in common. We cannot say totally 100% common. No doubt there are differences in languages and scripts, but Bharatiya Bhashas that are there, we can connect to that a bit. Say for example, Bhrata. Bhrata in many languages means brother, right? So certain languages, or you can say Guru. Guru is a word used in Sanskrit, used in Tamil, used in Hindi, used in Marathi. The meaning remains the same, right? Guru is a teacher, or one who has got the Guru Sthana, Guru. So these words that are there are common and they are used amongst languages, or they are used commonly over languages. Now, the first one, or the first, you can say, the scholar who actually revived after the Vedas also. You have the Vedas, then you have the different Itihasas, Ramayana, Mahabharatam, the different Puranas that come in, the 18 Puranas, then you have the 18 Upapuranas, Vedanta, this, that. Apart from all these texts, the one who actually discovered Sanskrit Vyakaranam as a language, or Sanskrit as a grammar, like these various aksharas, the Devnagiri Lipi and so on, was a great scholar called Panini Maharshi. And this Panini Maharshi composed this text Ashtadhyayi. Ashtadhyayi is a text on Sanskrit Vyakaranam, which has got the reference of these various aksharas which we are using, the various letters that we are using, how these letters are used together to form words also, what are the rules of grammar. All this he compiled together and used, and has compiled everything and put it in his text Ashtadhyayi. So this Panini's Ashtadhyayi that is there, it's said to be the world's oldest treatise, especially on Bhasha Shastram. Bhasha Shastram is nothing but linguistics, the science of languages. And it is said to be one of the oldest treatises ever known to mankind, as you can see, and even till date it is valid. It has not got any changes also. More than thousands of years ago, almost 3,000-4,000 years ago, even till date. You can see the date, 520 BC or so, Panini's date. Of course, there are approximate dates. So, till date, we are still, if you have to refer to any text for Sanskrit Vyakaranam, it has to be Panini's Ashtadhyayi. Even today in Gurukulas, even today, people and students who are learning Sanskrit, especially Sanskrit grammar, refer to Panini's Ashtadhyayi only. Right? So, there is, of course, there are many other texts. You have Patanjali Maharshi who comes in, you have Katyayana who comes in. So like this, there are many more scholars also, but they also many times, you see, they take the base text as Ashtadhyayi and then they compose, or then they study, they have their own points to put in and so on. Now, Panini was there. What the story goes is, these different letters that I now showed you on the screen, A, E, E and so on, they were in a raw form, right? These aksharas, how did these aksharas come in? It is said that Dhritavasane Nataraja Rajo Nanadadhakkam Navapanchavaram Udhatturkamas Sanakadi Siddhan Etad Vimarshe Shiva Sutrajalam. Now, those who cannot read the script, it is okay, that's why anyway recited, you have the meaning that is written below. It is said that at the end of the Tandava Nrityam done by Lord Shiva, in order to bless the four Sanat Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanandana and so on, Bhagavan Shiva, he played his Damaru 14 times, and by playing this, 14 sutras came in. They are called as the Shiva Sutras. Now these 14 sutras are nothing but the bunch of aksharas which I already showed you on the screen. What I showed you on the screen is a more refined form, which Panini has set up in his Ashtadhyayi. This is how, these are a set of vowels, these are a set of consonants and so on. Whereas these Shiva Sutras that are there, they came out a bit raw. I'll show you the Shiva Sutras. Yeah. So these, you see, already you could have seen there also the same aksharas. So these are only the aksharas which we are anyways going to learn in this Devanagari Lipi class, which we are going to have every Sunday. But this was a raw form which came. So basically it is said that Panini, when he prayed to Lord Shiva, he blessed him, and after this, the Shiva Tandavam that was done, these letters come out. Using these letters, which was called as Shiva Sutras, using these letters, Panini composed the Ashtadhyayi. He set off certain rules, how certain aksharas should be pronounced, where they should be placed, which should be categorized as vowels, which should be categorized as consonants, which will all fall in a particular class, and so on, right? In a particular group also. So how, I'll just show you the way it is pronounced. I un, rilrak, a ong, I ouch, hayavarat, lan, rimagananam, jamai, gadadhash, jabagadadhash, kapha chatha ta cha ta tau, kapai, shashasar, hal. So these are the 14 Shiva Sutras that are there. Now, if you notice in all these 14 Shiva Sutras, the last akshara that is there, the last of each of this, you see a, I, un, last of each of this, you have a small line between these, that small line, right? Small line below that letter that actually means half. That's why I said I un. I didn't say I una, I un, right? Hal, and so on. So of course we will learn all this in the introductory class. Most of you would not be able to make out, that's fine. But yes, we should know the origin from where these letters have come in. So what we are going to learn, you should know the background, right? So this is again one more reason why the Devnagari Lipi, why the Sanskrit language or the letters which we are actually going to learn, why it is considered to be so auspicious, because they are all come from the Damaru Nadam of Lord Shiva, right? And moreover, one more aspect of this is these Shiva Sutras or these letters which I just now chanted, all that actually represent the system of human speech. You can see the photo on the right side. You have something which relates to your nose, you have certain sounds which come from your mouth, from your throat, from the abdomen, some which will, while you pronounce a few letters, you see your tongue will be touched, some is wherein you use your teeth, and so on. So you use your entire vocal cords properly, starting from your mouth till the abdomen part also. So you see, this is a system of human speech, and this is one more reason why especially young children or people having, you can say, speech disorders or so, they are encouraged to read a lot of Sanskrit shlokas, they are encouraged to read and chant, pronounce a lot of Devanagari letters also. This is one reason for this, so that the pronunciation improves. You use different parts of your body, starting from your mouth till the abdomen also. So you have so many, you would have seen so many WhatsApp forwards or research this and that, right? Why Sanskrit shlokas should be chanted and so on. So these are all a basis for this. So you see, most of our grandmothers or maybe parents in the young age, they will always teach us a shloka, right? And they will make it a practice that, okay, there, like all of you, I believe that you would be able to relate to this. One shloka or so you would have been taught by maybe your grandparents or someone, which you will remember till date, right? They would have not put in efforts to say, no, you sit and by heart this. No, your grandmother will just maybe, she would have just made you chant the same thing morning and evening. You did not know its significance, nothing, but till date you remember that. Till date it is by heart. Has it happened with all of you? Any one shloka which you would be, say, chanting it even till date, right? But maybe you don't know why you are chanting or how someone taught you and so on. Anyone like that? You remember something like this? Yeah, so it can be one Ganapati shloka or it can be anything, right? Maybe the Gayatri mantra you take and so on. So like this, each one of us, there will be something which is taught to us, or maybe you can say it might be even not even religious shlokas also. It may be just a subhashitam, something like that, right? Some good thoughts also. But why do we remember this is why our ancestors or why grandparents, parents or so. One is no doubt to develop bhakti also for the religious importance, but there was one more reason to this, for speech improvement. Because you see, when you chant these shlokas, you can try for yourself. Any one shloka you pick up and you chant, maybe from the Gita also, or any subhashitam. Subhashitam are good sayings in Sanskrit. Maybe in our classes later we will refer to that too. You see, you use all the parts of your mouth. So for good speech also, for good speech to come in, this was one more reason why our ancestors, why our grandparents also used to teach those shlokas. So it's not only just the religious part or the bhakti. No doubt that is there, one part is that. But this was another reason is for speech development, so that our speech becomes clear. So that's the reason why such shlokas used to be taught to us. Yeah. A lot of research also has taken place on all this Shiva Sutras for this phonetics. Now you have the field of phonetics that is there, right? Especially small kids or so many phonetic classes come in. What exactly is phonetics? Wherein the teacher will tell you A, how you pronounce A, you look at my mouth, you open my mouth, then you say B, how do I chant B? I touch both my lips together. Then comes C, what do I do C? You see I touch my teeth, tongue touches my teeth. This is nothing but phonetics. Whereas Sanskrit or Devanagari Lipi is one of the most easiest lipis or scripts to learn phonetics. As we keep learning further, you will know. Because there, like you have for A, you actually open your mouth. B, you touch your lips. C, you touch your teeth. D, you touch the top of your mouth. Every letter is different. How you will remember gets a bit confusing. Whereas for Devanagari Lipi, it is not so, because it has been structured in that way, all thanks to Panini. Yeah. So like this, you have these Shiva Sutras that are there in various languages. Now from this Shiva Sutras you see in various languages, you can see how this aksharam is put in, like now I think you can relate from this. One of you, at least one of the languages most of you might be familiar, E, U. So from the Shiva Sutras you have the evolution of various languages also that has taken place. In fact, the respective aksharam for that particular language. Yeah. So this is all about the Shiva Sutras, how these aksharas have come in and so on. So this is just a small introduction of the letters which we will be learning, and we will, from the next time onwards, we will actually start with the Devanagari Lipi. We will start with the first aksharam. That is it. Today's session was just a small introduction to what exactly is the difference between a language and a script, what is the importance of learning this Devanagari language, what is the background, how it has originated, and so on. So I hope all of you could follow and